Hi, and welcome back. I'm Phil Bachman with ToSellYourBusiness.com. I'm really excited that we've reached this point in your free video series. With what you've seen in these videos we've sent you, you have, I'm sure, started thinking about maybe slightly redirecting your business planning and your management efforts. From watching these videos, I know you have a clear understanding of how important this information is to your business future and to your eventual exit from that business. I can promise you this, going through ToSellYourBusiness.com will change the way you think about business ownership. It'll transform the way you think, period. That's a key point. Now, if you haven't gone through our free video series yet, I've included all of them down below. Simply click on the button and you can bring yourself up to speed rather quickly. So far in the series, we've been talking about your transformation, about building your company with an eye towards eventually selling it regardless of your exit plans or timing, about exit channels, how they relate to different types of potential buyers, how a different buyer equals a different value for your business at the same point in time, how you really control the value of your business with the decisions you can make. The fact that national surveys confirm that 80 to 86% of all business owners have not done any significant exit planning. Don't you be one of them. About how important it is to focus on value drivers, unique to your business and to your industry. And yet, with all this information you've heard, we've barely touched the tip of the iceberg. There's so much for you to learn that will be beneficial to your business ownership, your business thinking, and your exit planning. Just consider this. After going through ToSellYourBusiness.com, you will be aware of how the process of preparing to sell a business works. There's a lot to it. You'll be prepared when the time comes to exit your business successfully. You'll realize the maximum value of your business at the closing table. You'll be confident that you are prepared, ready, and in control of the process of creating the maximum value of your business and for your business. Let's take a minute to go to the board. Let me show you this in kind of a different way. Hey, why don't you follow me over to the board and let me show you an illustration that's evolved with many meetings with some of our clients, and it seemed to help them understand this whole process of selling a business and how to get started in the process. All right, if you remember, I said this is a kind of an illustration that evolved on some legal pads over the course of many meetings with potential clients to kind of help them understand the process and to explain the process to them in a little bit different way. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at a business, your business, against time versus value. This will be dollars. And your business is going to grow. It starts down here and it grows. I'll just draw a line right here. Now, as you grow your business, you're going to be thinking, first of all, obviously about sales. You're going to be thinking about customers. You're going to be thinking about marketing. You'll be thinking about, maybe locations down the road, more than one location perhaps. You'll be thinking about your product mix, evolving them, getting more and so forth, and maybe some R&D in here somewhere. This is kind of the natural progress or progression of the growth of a business over time. And at some point in time, you're going to hit a decision point where you decide, I'm going to sell right here. And you start looking for, or thinking about and start trying to figure out how to find a buyer. So you need a buyer right here. And with that buyer, you're going to wind up negotiating a price on that. Now, as you get to the point of coming to an agreement with a potential buyer, you're going to hit this point right here, and you're going to have what's called an LOI, which is a letter of intent. It really isn't a legal document, except in a couple of aspects, and that is some assurances that they aren't going to go out, or you aren't going to go out and keep shopping your business while they're taking a serious look at it. And the LOI is going to establish a potential purchase price. It isn't a contract, as I said. And then starts the dreaded due diligence process. And the reason I'm drawing that down is because the value that has been established with this LOI will 99% of the time not be the value that you wind up closing with, unfortunately. Because during this process, this is your due deal. I use my red pen or red chalk here. Due deal. Oops, sorry. This is your due deal process. You're going to be talking with people like, maybe a regional vice president, maybe a vice president of marketing, a vice president of sales, finance. So be talking to all these guys, and trust me, they aren't being sent over to look at your business to become your best friend. Their instructions are look for anything that might be a condition that we don't want that would cause us to reduce the value of the purchase on this business. So you go through this due diligence process. It's pretty scary if you've not done it or you're not prepared for it. And eventually at some point, you wind up closing. This is your close. You close. Then that is not the money that you're going to net out of this and take with you, because now you have to deal with taxes. Believe it or not, the good old IRS is going to be a partner with you in the sale of your business, and they're going to take part of it. So eventually you wind up with a net amount that you realize out of your business. So this is kind of what we call the usual. It's typically it's a sell now situation. And if you remember back to the videos I showed you earlier, this is your 80 to 86% of all business owners. This is what they fall into. So let's compare that to a situation where you start planning early on. We still have a growth curve, and yes, I'm drawing it a little bit more steeper because you're a little bit wiser and using a little bit more finesse in your thinking and marketing. You're still going to be doing the same thing here. You're going to be looking for sales. You're going to be looking at customers. You're going to be looking at your marketing, your locations, your product mix, R&D. I did a very good R, is it? R&D, same as over here. But all the time you're doing this, you're also looking at potential exit channels. You're looking at value drivers. You're learning about them and understanding which ones are important to your particular business and your particular industry. You're looking at the industry trends. You're looking at things like the due diligence process, and you're learning early on what the due deal process requires so that you're getting them ready literally years in advance. And you're identifying early on who your potential buyers could be. Now, when I say potential buyers, I'm not talking about a name or a company. I'm talking about a description of the type of potential buyer. So that's potential buyers. All the way along, you are, this will sound familiar to you, you are building your business to sell, even if you don't intend to sell right away. At some point in time, and then you decide to go out and find your buyer. You say, okay, everything's right. I'm ready to sell. The industry, it really looks good right now. It's time to sell. Now the situation is different because you are looking for a buyer, but you already know what that buyer should look like. You already know the value drivers that buyer is going to be specifically interested in and react to. You already know the exit channels that are your options for exiting out of your business. So what you can do here is you literally set up an auction environment. An auction environment. And you actually create bidding process between 2 or 3 companies. We see this all the time. In fact, we just finished one with a manufacturing company where we had 2 companies bidding against them. And, we literally sit down with one company and say, well, it's a good offer, we're enjoying working with you, but, frankly, we've got a better offer. And if you can bump yours up by about $500,000, then we can get this together and we'd like to work with you. That's the kind of situations you get into. What a nice change from over here, not knowing what you're doing and hoping you find somebody that's interested in buying your business. So the same thing happens here. You hit a point where you get the LOI, which establishes a purchase price. And at that point, the due deal starts. But I'm going to draw a lot shallower line here than I did over here, because you've already prepared for due diligence all the way along here. For instance, they're going to ask you, well, in all your product development, do you have documented quality testing on the product that you can show us? Well, that's something you got to think ahead about and make sure you've got for your due diligence. And you've got that in this scenario. So your due diligence process runs much more smooth. Frankly, you wind up impressing them a lot, and you wind up finally at the close with a price. Now, all along, several years, you have been planning your tax situation. So your taxes, you're going to have a lot more ability to defer them, to help not have to pay all of them at the time of closing. What does that do for you? Your taxes are going to be less, and more specifically, your net right here, dollars, is going to be more. That's what you're looking for. So we call this planned. Planned. This is less than 20% of business owners. Don't be one of them. I mean, don't be one of these. Be 20%. This is the sell at sell now here. This is sell later. So what is your net out of this whole process? Okay, first of all, here's your LOI dollar amount. Here's your LOI dollar amount. So you bring this over here, you bring this over here, and look at the difference. In the initial startup dollar amount that you're talking with your potential seller about. You go through the due diligence process, and because you are well prepared for it, you have much less kickback or reduction in your eventual final selling price. You've done your tax planning, and you net out right here. You didn't do any tax planning, you never think about it too much, and this is the situation. So taking the information about how a business sells and the things you should do to get the maximum value out of your business and the planning leads you to this kind of a situation rather than over here. And that's what we wanted to show you, and this seems to help make sense to people to understand what all of this that we're talking about is, the process to selling your business. I hope that helped, and I hope that it made sense to you. So the question is, are you ready to take the next steps? Are you ready to expand your business ownership knowledge? Are you ready to refine your business direction? Are you ready to concentrate on your business's value and how to control it? Are you ready to be prepared for the time when you decide that it's time to exit? Well, we'll walk you through the entire business selling and exit process. The program itself has 7 modules. Each module has 6 to 14 videos. So far, there's over 360 pages of support materials, notes, sample forms, Excel sheets that we'll be going through with these videos. And realizing that it would be a real pain in the patootie to download all of this material, I've bound all of it up in a 3-ring binder for you. It's all tabbed and easy to follow, and it's tabbed to go with whatever video it's supposed to go with. Now, you don't have to worry if you run into scheduling problems that cause you to fall behind. You can always catch up at your own speed and on your own schedule. And after you've gone through the entire program, you'll be able to go back through it and review the materials as often as you like, for as long as you like, in whatever order you like. Personally, I like to go through a few videos and then kind of stew on them for a couple of days, let them sink in, and then go back through the videos again. I seem to pick up a lot more when I review them that way, but that's up to you. That's me. You do what's best for you. However you go through the course, here's the absolute priceless point. It's your program, forever, for life, starting from the time you enroll. So let's sum it up. We're going to enter into a long-term relationship. You'll always have the course materials. You'll receive ongoing new information as a part of your membership in the To Sell Your Business community. Now, for us, in our business, as merger and acquisition specialists, to sit down and initially spend 4 to 5 hours with a business owner or owners, a good half day talking about them, or talking about them selling their business, and just really getting started with their learning curve, just highlighting the major points, no depth whatsoever, that result in a $1,500 to a $2,000 fee. And it wouldn't even start to scratch the surface of the information that you will be going through and will always have available. The program, ToSellYourBusiness.com, is a $14.95 program. The materials you'll receive, what you will see, what you will hear, what you will learn, will stay with you, and when you've gone through the entire program, you will have changed. You will have transformed as a business person and as a business owner. You will be a better prepared owner or future business owner. That much I know I can promise you. You may remember Chris saying several times in the videos that you should start preparing now, even if you're years away from your exit, because a lot of what we teach you takes time to implement and accomplish. We also address the real-world situations of needing to sell your business now, right away. We'll coach you through the process if you've got an immediate selling situation, a personal situation. I recently heard a good analogy for using this training. It's an old saying, you need a map before you go into the woods, not after you're in and lost. So don't end up in the middle of the woods in the process of selling and starting to sell your business and then realize you really don't know what you're doing. You're going to go into a sudden panic attack and kind of go, uh-oh, what do I do now? Don't do that. Be prepared. Instead, click the button now. Go down below. Go to the form, put in your details, click submit, and let's get started. When you do, you'll really feel good about it. You're going to know that you're preparing for a well-deserved ending to your business ownership career, whenever that's going to come. So put in your details, click on the button, and get ready. I'm Phil Bachman, and we'll see you on the inside. And Chris and I, we're really looking forward to it and getting excited about it.